So Aaron, tell me a little bit about, I'm going to buy a spray foam rig. I'm wanting to get into the business. I want to do everything right. You know, I want our business to be profitable. I want to get the best of return on investment. Tell me some of the things I need to look for in the equipment, housing, and the trailer itself so that I make the right decisions for my company.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple things I look at is durability. We want to make sure that it's rugged and it's going to take kind of the day-to-day wear of a job site, you know, a contractor going from job to job to job, putting a lot of miles on it. So you want to make sure it's constructed properly. You also want to make sure that it's can handle the weight that we're hauling. Some of these rigs loaded down with foam can exceed 12,000 pounds pretty easily. So we can't just take any old trailer and turn it into a spray foam rig all the time. The generator is what, 2,000 pounds some of them can exceed?
Some to 2,500.
Yeah, if you have 2,000 or 3,000 pounds of foam, 800-pound compressor, there's a lot of dense, heavy components that we need to make sure are kind of placed around the rig the right way. So even the installation and the build of it, you know, you can talk about, does it have a floor undercoating? Up here in Minnesota, that's important with all of our winter conditions. Rivetless sides, you know, are you gonna put a wrap on it? That's something that's important. So let's go have a look at a couple of these things.
Some things. Let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm so excited to learn about these spray foam rigs.
Yes.
So here we are at the front of the trailer. Tell me a little bit about what I need to be looking at.
Yeah, so we're kind of work tip to tail here. So the tongue is an important thing to consider, tongue weight. In general, as a rule of thumb, you don't want the weight of this hitch to be over 15% of the entire weight of the loaded trailer, okay? Or under 9% either. So if you fall below 9 or over 15%, you can have a trailer that pulls like this, which is not fun. And now you consider going to a job loaded with 2,000 or 3,000 pounds of foam might pull great, or versus coming home with no foam in it, it might pull completely different. So we want to make sure that we can build something that pulls the same way to the job site loaded and back home from the job site empty. Even if you look at some of the capacities and some of the numbers, I would encourage you to look at your receiver hitch on your pickup truck. Even a 1-ton dually is maybe a class 5 rated hitch, are usually not rated for over 1,900 pounds.
Wow.
We order our trailers with our axles in the correct location that we've weighed all 5 points of contact, meaning 4 wheels and the tongue, right? So we weighed it all out and we've kind of engineered it in a way that it'll meet the 9 and 15 rule, loaded with foam, empty, with fuel in the diesel tank, empty, every way you can configure it.
So you're telling me that you have this rig specifically designed for spray foam. I can't just go buy this trailer on a lot and put equipment in it and it's going to be just like it.
This particular one, yes. And this problem, as you know, is most relevant in a 20-foot tag-along model. It's just that perfect size that we have a lot of other considerations to look at. So just something to pay attention to. But look at your receiver hitch on your pickup. You can see if it's rated. I got a half-ton Dodge, I think it's 1,300 or 1,250. A 3/4 ton is maybe 1,600. A 1-ton single or dually, they're anywhere from 1,700 to 1,900. So something to consider if you're wanting to build a trailer or a foam rig out of your own trailer. If it's a 20-footer, it's something we want to discuss. Absolutely. And this is something I'm going to venture to say a lot of other rig builders may not bring up because it's not always an easy conversation, but we want to make sure things are done safely and functional and productive and the right way.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so we have moved on to the exterior of the rig, Aaron, and I kind of want to know what are some of the things I should be looking at when I'm buying a new spray foam rig or adding to my fleet?
Yeah, there's a lot of considerations with a trailer that I don't think a lot of people address or talk about enough. There's little workmanship, little things that help make your job a little more productive and functional. One of them is just a simple hose hatch, preferably a 3-sided hose hatch. So if you install this in the middle, you have to fish your hose through it, which is not easy or convenient. Whereas a 3-sided one, it just simply folds up. You can run your hose out as long as you want and then just kind of drop that on top of your hose to help keep in some cool and heat.
Okay, so I'm thinking that I want to get a wrap on my rig, and I see these little, rivets over here. Is there an option for that to get them without? Or?
Yeah, there absolutely is. So this trailer here is our eco model, or our standard model, we refer to it sometimes. We pull some costs out of this just to get it more economical. The premium model does come with rivetless sides. So all these panels are actually glued together. They use an adhesive strip to hold it together. So then it's all smooth, no rivets. It's great for decals, wraps, things like that.
Awesome, thank you.
This is a 48-inch wide door on this particular rig. And again, it's just the 20-foot models that we have sort of this weight issue. We put the generator in the back. But this would be your loading door. So it's a nice wide door. You can get a couple guys in here helping get material in. The inconvenience of having to load through a side door, to me, outweighs the cost of the inconvenience of having a trailer that doesn't pull straight, not passing a weigh station, or God forbid, an actual problem, an accident or something like that. So that's the door. The hose hatch here. This is kind of what that looks like. So you can run your hose out, and then this would just flap on top of it so it keeps in some heat. What else do you want to know about trailers? We can talk about
we can talk about this all day, right?
All day.
So let's move on to where the generator and the compressor. I haven't seen that yet. Where do you guys store that?
It's right over here. Let's go check it out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is phenomenal. This is like one of my favorite pieces of the spray foam rig. Aaron, tell me a little bit more about like generator, compressor, air dryer, this whole back room, what we have going on right here and what I should be looking for.
Yeah, so this particular rig, this is a generator, compressor, and air dryer combo. It's kind of a one size fits all. But in regards to the equipment housing and how that plays into it, like we mentioned, this unit weighs dry. I think it weighs right close to 2,100 pounds. Okay, so we were talking about weight distribution earlier and axles. We want this trailer to pull straight and we want it to be safe, whether there's foam in it or no foam in it. By moving the axles where we place them and putting this back here, we are meeting the needs of DOT, and we're within that 9 to 15% range on the tongue. Some other considerations in regards to the equipment housing is this room in general and where you're gonna put your generator and your compressor. You can see we have vents on both sides. So the generator, the radiator fan is drawing air through there, and these louvers, believe it or not, are sized a little bit differently to allow for the proper airflow through this room, which is a requirement of the manufacturer of the engine. They need to have so many changes of air for cooling purposes over the engine, and we've taken that into consideration on this rig. What other questions do you have?
So this is the combo unit, the beast kind of a spray foam world. If I didn't have all of this together, it would just be separately put right here in the back?
That's right.
Compressor, generator, air dryer, or do you put the air dryer up front?
Yes, we would typically put the air dryer up front. If it's a refrigerated style air dryer, that would go up in the conditioned space. So yeah, being that we want ventilation, this room is not insulated. I mean, it would be pointless to insulate it when we have two big holes on both sides. Yeah. The only part of it that is insulated is the actual midwall itself, and we actually use fiberglass for that for two reasons. One is for sound. Keeping the noise from this thing on this side of the wall and away from your workers, man, that can be maddening. Listening to a generator, or if you're on the phone troubleshooting it and you're inside there, we deal with that every day, don't we?
Oh yeah. Hey, what'd you say?
Yep.
You spraying foam in the background?
Yeah, can't hear you, shut it off, but then you can't see the problem. But, and then for fire too, fiberglass is a little bit better barrier for that, a little safer. So, other considerations, we have a shore circuit right over here. It's just a 110 volt circuit, and you can use that to plug in anything, basically anything 110. Your air conditioner, or if you have a 110 volt wall mounted heater, you can use that to plug in. So that's nice and convenient. And then what do we have over there?
Oh, this is a fire extinguisher back here. Hopefully you're not gonna have to use that, especially if you buy a well-built spray foam rig.
That's right.
But yeah, you've got your fire extinguisher back here and it's all set, ready to go.
All right, one last thing on equipment housings. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, so here we are inside of the spray foam rig. And there is a lot of stuff in here that is obviously optional or maybe upgrades, but kind of point me through some of the things that come as a standard and some things that can be upgraded.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a standard model. We make this model a little bit more a la carte. So this overhead cabinet, for instance, is an option. The workbench, the toolbox right behind you, even down to the floor, this flooring is an option. You can also opt to have the floor insulated or not, depending on where you're at. This particular one being, it's a Minnesota rig,
right,
in stock, by the way. And the floor is insulated, so we kind of equipped this one for maybe more northern conditions. We pull some cost out of the trailer. You saw the rivetless sides earlier. You know, this one has painted walls rather than like a white vinyl faced kind of sheathing. But I'll say that the way you lay out your rig and the way you assemble it and build it can save you money in the long haul. So if you go back to annual cost of ownership and what your bottom line is at the end of the year, this flooring and this overhead cabinet and some of the things and the way we've laid it out is going to increase production and decrease your cost of ownership. Things are serviceable in here, things are accessible, and that's important because things break, and if there's wires on the floor, if there's, you know, supply hoses that aren't secured properly, things move, and as you know, contractors are hard on equipment.
Oh yes, it's kind of cool in here.
Yeah, it sure is. That's because it's fully spray foam insulated. And we have a AC unit up here, and we also have a wall mounted heater in this rig as well. So yeah, it's not a big space. With spray foam insulation, you can get it down or as warm as you need to get it.
Absolutely, it feels great.
Yeah, the build, the electrical, plumbing, other safety precautions are super important to have. A couple we have in this rig, and should be in every rig, whether you buy it from us or not. A first aid kit, an SDS holder. What do you have over there?
Eye wash solution, and yep, so that's, yeah, all your safety stuff, your first aid kit, your MSDS, cabinet, storage galore. I mean, yeah, you got everything here that you need.
Cool.
Can I get something better though?
You can get a 20-foot premium, which comes standard with all of the cool options that we talked about. So they're all fully foam insulated. The walls are actually white vinyl faced sheathing, which is a little easier to clean, a little bit more durable. So you can mount stuff on it. You can run bolt screws into it.
Awesome. I have my air line here and my pressure gauges and
That's right.
nice clean lines. Yeah, it looks really good.
All right, so next we'll talk a couple more safety items.
All right.
Let's check it out. So up here, we also have a smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. Hopefully that's gonna alarm you if there's an issue in the rig, carbon monoxide, or if it's on fire. And speaking of fires, Chelsea, what do we have?
I'm on fire! No, I'm just kidding. We hope not. There is a fire extinguisher over here, ABC rated fire extinguisher, so in case you ever do get in that predicament, you are covered.
Could you imagine needing that and not having it?
I mean, yeah, it'd be a very sad day just watching your rig burn to the ground.
Yeah, that would be the worst. So don't let that happen.